Good afternoon, everyone. It's Carm Caprietto. Oh, look at this motley crew. Are you ready? It's amazing to think that we're going to do a Town Hall Academy here on December 22nd. We usually do it on Friday. Friday, as you all know, is Christmas Day. And I wasn't going to ask Gene, Joe, or Greg to be here on Christmas Day. They were kind enough to come today. And so we're ahead of schedule, but that's okay because we're going to talk about 2021 and what it may look like. You want to see what these guys really look like today after like a 6-year-old picture? Are you ready? All right, here they are.
Here we go. No difference, right?
There is. Look at that. Are you kidding me? There is no
difference. Come on. Look, no difference.
Yeah, absolutely no difference at all. Hey, Town Hall Academy, and a lot's going on here. I want to cover a few things before we start, and that is, we recently did an episode with Joe, and it was a Town Hall Academy a couple of weeks ago, and it was on creating the right environment for shop efficiency. Joe, it was really moving episode because I think you guys, first of all, you nailed it as a team.
Thank you.
And I think you drove an awful lot of deep think to the industry. Now, if they just listen to it and pay attention to it, go to the show notes page, write down all those talking points that you guys covered and start implementing. 21 is going to be a good year for them if they consider the changes in processes that are so necessary. So
Yeah.
great show. Town Hall Academy 201. And I don't know, a few weeks ago, or was it this past Friday, Greg? Yeah, it was this past Friday. Greg and I sit in the studio, and I turn on the recorder, and I said, "Okay, let it happen."
And it happened.
And it happened.
It was a mistake.
And it happened. I know. And we talked about octopus.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to eat it, but its lifestyle and how it relates to things we can learn, right?
Neurological network. It's neurological makeup. Let's make it a little bit more scientific here, Let's add a little juice to it.
Yeah, he's bailing himself out. It was good. We talked about National Geographic.
Class on biology. That's what it was.
Yeah,
I had to check my phone. I had to check my phone to make sure I was listening to the right podcast.
Hey, so glad to have you here. Now, look, if you're out there with us on Facebook, even though it's 3 days early, and you're saying, hey, what the hell's going on? Town Hall Academy on 4:00 Eastern Time Tuesday. Well, Christmas is there, and we're not going to do one on Christmas. If you're with us on Facebook, check in with your city, give us a comment and a like, and even a share. Appreciate you being here. Hey, by the way, the show wouldn't be possible without our great sponsors. Now, Shopware wants you to wow your customers while keeping your distance. And guys, it's amazing we still have to do that. Even while staying 6 feet apart, Shopware's innovative technology will help you move cars through safely and efficiently. Completely digital workflow allows customers to review, approve, and pay for repairs all in one place. Request a demo at getshopware.com. Does your social media truly represent your shop, or is it just plain vanilla generic type posts? Well, it doesn't have to be that way. The experts at Shop Marketing Pros listen and create social content that connects you to your community on the web at shopmarketingpros.com. Who's with me? Greg Buckley, bottom left corner of your screen.
Hey guys,
Buckley's Auto Care, Wilmington, Delaware.
Hey. What's up,
Joe Hey man, what a great crew. Joe Marconi, Osceola Garage, Baldwin Place, New York, part-time elite worldwide coach. Hello, Joe.
Thank you. Hello, how you doing?
Good, man. Gene Morrill, certified automotive, Glendora, California, part-time elite coach too.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Rumor has it that you work for Joe.
Yeah, he's a tough boss.
No, we work together.
Okay. We do. We work very well together.
Yeah.
Just checking, guys. Let's not have a domestic. Hey, Gene Morrill, I don't know why I'm so loose. It's the holidays, so bear with the loosey structure that we have going on here. Gene Morrill, episode 6 and 7 with me. I mean, we're celebrating this Christmas 600 episodes, Christmas Day, and Gene, just for Remarkable Results Radio. 204 Town Hall Academies and 91 for the records. But Gene, you were with me in the very early days when I was just learning how and what this was going to be and how it came. And you were very forthcoming. It was a great interview. And then you did a Town Hall Academy number 14 when I went to Gene, we started and he came on customer retention strategies. That was really good. And then in Town Hall 63, value of a business coach. So you guys have been tremendous contributors, and boy, do I sure appreciate that. Well, look at here. We're here to talk about what will 2021 look like. If you've got any questions for this great panel, don't hesitate. Please bring it on. We'd love to hear that. Gene, since it's been a while since you've been on the show, let me start with you. You need a survival guide, you tell me, for 2021.
Well, as we were speaking earlier, everything's different. We've never been through anything like this. It's not over yet. We have a long ways to go. And most of us that have kept going and doing well, I think, have put together our survival guide just by instinct, by trying to keep our businesses alive. We've been very fortunate that through our fumbling around, through our experience, through having great coaching, through having great mentors and friends, that survival guide, I don't know if it's the right word, but for us, that's what we have. We made sure we put our war chest together. We had some savings. We took some chances. We upped our marketing. We tried calling our customers, letting them know we're open when all this started. So, we weren't just sitting on our laurels and hoping business came in.
Good point.
So I was, you talked about R&D earlier, and everybody knows I'm a big R&D guy. And I was talking with Mikey B from the BG products. And, when COVID came in, everybody kind of got stuck. And so we were talking, everybody has that, that couch that's been sitting in the corner for 10 years. And this year is the year, pick up the couch and move it. Try something different. Find a new place for that couch. So my call is move the dang couch. This next year, move the couch. And who knows what's going to happen? Maybe nothing will happen. Maybe you'll find great stuff underneath that couch. Don't make resolutions. Get up and do something. Move the couch to somewhere else, and who knows what's going to happen? Because if I could tell you, I would, but unfortunately, I don't even know what's going to happen. As great as I am, right?
Well, we're here to talk about what we think is going to happen, but I guess part of the dialogue here is what should we maintain that we've been doing, and also, guys. Every time a new year hits, you always want to rethink, reinvent. At least I know a very big portion of the industry wants to reinvent, Joe, or come up with, okay, I've got a plan. How good is that plan? We never lived through a pandemic before. Is the vaccine going to matter? I mean, I think we're in a massaging kind of environment in the next 6 months.
Well, yeah. Well, I think Greg hit it on it before we came on live. Greg hit upon, he said it was different this time around. And all of us in this, of my age, our age, we lived through many, many of these roller coasters, going back from the 70s, 80s. I mean, we're not immune from any economic downturn or crisis. Look at 9/11, look at the recession of 08, 09, and many other economic situations. But I think being that this is so different, and to Gene's point and to Greg's point earlier about being different, I think that what we need to do is look at what happened, see how well we were prepared for it, make those changes, understand that we need to push forward no matter what, and we need to make some key decisions. And sometimes those decisions, guys, are not going to be correct, but that's okay. Because if you like Gene said, if you sit on your hands and do nothing, that's the worst thing you can do. You got to make key decisions based upon the best information you have right now and keep pushing forward. And I agree with Greg when he said this was different. I think this was a life-defining moment for many of us, especially different areas of the country that were heavily impacted by this virus. Some not as much as others, but like my area being so close to New York City, we were really impacted by it. So I think that to move forward, you learn from it. You put your war chest together. You make sure your finances are correct. Make sure you have that crisis continuity plan in place if you don't already have one. And you have to make decisions and just be clear about the fact that you're seeing things now that you've never seen before. But that's not new to the human species at all. I mean, we've always been against. I mean, we've come up against adversity in tough times. So learn from it, move on, push forward, and have the right mindset. Be positive.
To Joe's point, okay, we'll never have something like this again. Let's just pause on that thought for a moment. I know you never know, but economic, weather. I mean, there's a lot of things that it may not affect you nationally, but it could be a plant closing. It could be a flood disaster. There's a million things that could hurt you and pause business, maybe not for 9 months to a year. But the fact of the matter is you have to be resilient. I think that's what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. You have to be resilient because, sometimes when we have good times, we get a little complacent. You have a year ago, 2 years, you get a little complacent. Things are running good and they're okay. And you're making money, you put money in the bank. But sometimes we forget that good times, we hope they last. But the reality is good times the same as life itself. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have those tough times. We got to prepare the best. And not that you're going to prepare for everything. No one could prepare. I don't think, unless you lived through the 1917 and 18 pandemic, you're not going to prepare for this one. But you have to learn from it, move on, keep the right mindset.
Hey, Greg, I want to talk to you about fundamentals. I know that you're strong with them. And to me, moving into 2021 is you don't want to reinvent them, but you want to have them in the stable.
Yeah, I think you got to fall back on what your experiences are and what you've already gone through and what has worked in the past. A case in point is, and I think Gene and I have shared conversations on this, is that a lot of the older style marketing is now working better than maybe some of your online marketing, but at the same time, you still need to know tech because of what you're working on. So there's a confluence of different ways to move through your business. But having those fundamentals, knowing your margins, knowing the KPIs, understanding your team and all that, so I think that is a solid structure that can at least carry you through these different times. And then you can layer in the different uses of technology. I mean, for those of us that have adopted and adapted to the use of technology, I think we've maneuvered quite well. Imagine if we didn't have a DVI or we didn't have contactless payments or pay over the phone or credit card, anything like that. So it's constantly changing. I don't think like everybody in the panel is saying, we're not through this yet. There's a lot of factors that we'll have to address just from not just the business fundamentals from the business side, but for us in our profession, we have automotive technology that was coming to us. And now it's really here. EVs, additional hybrids, all that technology is here. And we need to learn that and stay on top of that because that has gained interest with the results of the pandemic. So the market is kind of like pushing that way and we're going to follow into it. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But if you have your fundamentals down, and I know all of us try, and like, Gene and Joe have said, nobody's perfect with it. But at the same time, we're going to continue to hone in on those fundamentals and make sure we're as solid as possible. Throw things at the wall when we can and see what sticks and go for it.
Yeah, Gene, I mute you every once in a while, Gene, because there's a lot of noise coming from your end, and
Oh, sorry.
that's okay, and it just will affect the eventual outcome of the final podcast. You said in your talking points, and I love this: stop being reactive and be proactive, and I think we almost have to adopt that as a theme for us for 2021.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Everybody. This is the unknown, and the unknown is so scary it can be frightening for most people. So what that does is it puts people in that, mode where you react to things happening instead of trying to move forward and maybe even anticipate what's going on, because you don't want to be caught in that reactive stage all the time, because then you're always behind the curveball. So moving the couch is being, proactive and doing something before it happens. And, something like if you've never joined an organization, ASC, ASA, you've never gone down the street and talked to your shop owner friends and everything. So, those are really, really important. So, to do that, and just, be forward thinking is the best way I could put it.
Yeah.
Tell us your story about your shop owners are like two children.
Well, it's funny. I tell the story a lot when I talk to people. I have a daughter and a son, and I can tell my daughter, there's a pan of water on the stove, the handle's hot, honey, don't touch it. She'll say, okay, Dad, I believe that. My son now, I tell him the pan's hot, and he'll have to walk up, grab it, get burned to learn that lesson. And I think most shop owners, almost all shop owners, including myself, are the type of people that have to touch that hot pan and get burned before they learn that lesson, because being a business coach, you talk to folks, they don't listen. They want to go out and get burned. Including myself, we all know more than everybody else at certain times, right? So getting burned sometimes is not a bad thing.
Hey guys, could this be the year that we admit that we don't know what we don't know?
Oh, I think that's obvious. I think you're right on point there, Carl. I think that's obvious. Sure.
And that takes it takes ego on the shelf. It takes a lot of humbleness, and I learned it late in life. Unfortunately, it was a little late, where I had for example, Joe, you said R&D, and by the way, we had a great pre-talk. We should have recorded what we talked about before we went live, and now we're referencing that. And you said, well, we talked about R&D. Well, in the case of R&D, in our discussion, it was called rip off and duplicate, not research and development, right?
Yeah.
And so I would have been, and I want to encourage the audience, the shop owner, the people that want to be in business today. You hear something, you need to stop and say, what do you mean? I don't understand. And it shouldn't matter what age you are. Well, this is this young 40-something. He should know everything. And he doesn't speak up. And then he ends up becoming further and further and further behind in the things that he needs to know. So let's encourage, ask the question, stop for a minute, admit you don't know what you don't know. And you know what? There's so many people willing to teach and share today. Yes. It is. People are on fire, willing to help.
I agree 100%. 100%. This time around too, Com, you have to realize that many shop owners were put into a position where they never had to think about before. Now I'm talking about the people aspect, employees. Many shop owners had no business, and they literally had no sales, and they had to make tough decisions about their personnel. Who do I lay off? Who do I let go? So, and I know many shop owners, many shop owners I speak to, that they had pride in the fact that they're in business for 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, and never had to lay off a single person. But this time around, it was different. So back to Greg's point, it's different. But again, we have to learn. Look, it's only going to make us stronger. Let's put the plan together. Let's look forward. Maintain your training, maintain your marketing. That's another thing too. Maintain your marketing through the tough times. History has proven through the past 100 years of studies that the companies that maintain their marketing through the toughest times were the ones that came out the other side better and stronger. So, people, the first thing to do, and I get it, guys, shop owners out there, I get it. If there's nothing coming in and your sales have dropped and there's nothing in the bank, I get it. But you got to do, I'm talking about financing and the financial aspect of it and expenses. I do get that. I'm a shop owner too. But the thing is, I think that we have to Gene's point, if you react to a point where you're going to pull back, That's not good. That really isn't good. You got to maintain your resolve, your resiliency. You got to maintain your business as usual as best as possible. Find ways to find solutions, not knowing that you're going to be right in every decision. And don't be afraid to make a decision. And don't be afraid that, guess what? It wasn't the best of decisions. You keep pushing forward. A quarterback sometimes makes a throw not knowing it's the best throw I can make. You know what? Sometimes you're going to be picked off for an interception. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, getting back to the whole thing about 2021, we got to start thinking about how this affected us, but maintain business as usual the best as possible, because training, employees, leadership, all those things that we've been talking about on your podcasts, they're all true and they're all out there. We've got to maintain a plan and keep business pushing forward as best as possible the way we know how, given what we learned, and making those changes accordingly.
By the way, guys, I'm going to do I think it's a Town Hall Academy, and I think it may be January 8th. I don't even know, because, I've got this, I got the shows planned out weeks ahead, and it's going to be called Proof of Concept. And I'm going to have a business coach on and 2 shop owners to come up and say, we weren't quite sure we did all these things right. And, as we were, and then boom, here comes pandemic. And because we did all those, the proof of the concept in where the industry is headed and going, and what I needed to do to join an association, be in a 20 group, be a better leader, the proof of concept landed. So what did we have? Some people had 2 or 3 or 4 months worth of shakiness, and some of them had a month and a half, maybe no longer than 2, while the business came back to them, and they were on solid ground. The strong got stronger.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, 20 walk with us down the 2021 mentality of the things that maybe people could do and new additions to their lineup.
Well, I think loaner cars are a big help. I think that's something new. Most of us have either closed or kind of limited our waiting areas, and we still do not want to inconvenience a client. So we've invested in, a loaner car. That program works very well. It keeps people moving. You got contactless operations where, we can collect payment virtually, which is helpful. I was just getting ready to say before you asked me the question, where are we what am I doing? And a lot of other shops will be doing the same. It's really refocusing on the client base that you have. And, retention, I think, has never been more important, because now you can find out what your clients really, really need and fulfill that need. Go down that lane and ask, what can they use? How can I fulfill it? Acquisition will come from word of mouth. And I believe that path is what is going to be required. Car count is especially going to be affected. And again, I'm kind of summarizing this because I think the bigger picture economically is a reduction in miles driven per capita. I really feel that that's the strongest metric that we have to concern ourselves with, because if people don't drive, let's say cars don't break and that kind of thing, I think it's a critical metric. And that's something where we better look at the fact that people can drive less, but it doesn't mean that they don't need more services. So what services can we provide in a lower mileage situation? And we really got to be on the game for, going down that lane for consumer, quality services that we can offer. So that's what I think 2021 will bring, is a refinement of what our services are going to be and how we're going to execute them for client satisfaction.
Hey, let me ask you for a pause right now. Do you know what is as easy as 1, 2, 3? Well, Shopware's shop management system allows customers to review, approve, and pay for repairs all in one place. Keep your staff and your customers safe while maintaining profits and keeping your customers happy. Learn more at getshopware.com. Hey, is your marketing company sharing the same vanilla social media posts for you that they do for every other shop? Well, that's not how Shop Marketing Pros does business. They believe in each shop. They believe that each shop is unique with its own great story. Contact them today on the web at shopmarketingpros.com. I like where this is going. Thank you for this. If there's anyone out there, we don't have a big audience today, but that's okay, because of course we're repurposing this. We'll repurpose this next week as a podcast. And I wanted to do this town hall. I didn't want to lose the streak, 204 weeks in a row. And even though it was going to be Christmas Day, we wanted to keep this thing going. In fact, there's so many great things to talk about in this industry, and this is such a great resource.
I'd like to add into a little things, because I've had some experiences over the last month, actually, about customer service, about e-commerce, and what perception could be about how traditional retailing of services and goods and services are going to be. So, in short, this month has been a disaster in terms of just things. Let's put it this way. Shit hitting the fan. And all right, I've had a broken shop heater. Shop heater broke. My boiler here at the house broke. My stove went out. I ordered a brand new Mac. It got stolen through one of the carriers. I had shop supplies ordered through Amazon. It got hoisted, disappeared, invisible. So all the time, I'm trying to find out where it's at. So it's taking a lot of time to find out where these goods are at and who can service my failed heaters, right? And it's funny as hell, because I've come to the conclusion that everybody talks about, what Amazon's going to do to the marketplace, what, e-commerce is all about, what transparency is about, what contactless situations are going to be. And for the life of me, I've had the worst time with all of that, trying to rectify problems that I've had. And just today, or just, in this last week, now I don't know about anybody else out there, but I'm a last minute guy, right? Gifts, cards, you name it. If I do remember to get you a gift, I am running out last minute, 11:59 p.m. The store closes at 12. That's just the way I've always been.
Hey, Greg, I don't care if it comes after Christmas. You can do that.
Okay. Well, all right. I'll remember that. What kind of wine was that? Was that red or white? No.
Cabernet.
But you know what? I mean, it's just, I don't think that e-commerce and that whole ecosystem, there's not enough people to handle it. And so it goes back to my thinking about, well, gosh, if I can be more personable, if I can present and execute a better quality event and service and experience, my gosh, you've got it. You've got it, because it's not out there. So it goes back to what we were saying about 2021 being, I don't know if it's a reinvention, but I think a good thing is to go back to roots, quality service, experience, phone calls, follow-ups, real voices, real people, go from there.
Greg, I can't agree with you more, Greg, because technology will never replace what you're talking about. It won't. Technology cannot. I agree with you 100%. And, I think two things that we've got out of this COVID-19 and we need to push forward to 2021, the customer experience and the employee experience. I mean, look at the employees. They're essential workers. They worked through this. They had to do everything they had to do to keep clean, keep healthy. We don't know the numbers of how many maybe got sick with COVID, but they had to do a lot of things that they were never accustomed to doing before. So the customer experience, the employee experience, 2021 will be the year that we appreciate more than ever our employees, and take that to the bank, literally to the bank, because a lot of us had to make tough decisions about who we keep, who we don't keep. And when the dust settles, you're going to put the best players on the floor. So Greg, right to your point, technology will never replace good old-fashioned customer service, and we got to understand who the customer is, and we have to understand the balance and that synergy from employee, because we all know the saying, happy employees generate happy customers. We all know that, but now is the time, 2021. I think shop owners realize that now more than ever.
Oh, they do, and to your point, Joe, I feel that our supplier network has really turned on the light
Yeah.
with virtual training, and I think that's going to stick. I
And
don't
it
think
works. Yeah.
it looks
You're right.
great, and
Yeah.
I think it's only going to get better. And when I poll my guys what they love about it, they all come back. You know what? I can sit and eat my dinner. I could, be very relaxed, and I can learn. And that right there tells me that they may like to go to an event, but do they really feel necessary to go to an event when they can do everything or learn, let's say 75% of it without touch, feel, senses, and all that stuff. And I think our suppliers are just doing a wonderful job. They're really coming on board, and they get it. And I think that's where they're practicing that good client care, because they know we need good technicians. We need a good employee base, and our suppliers are starting to say, okay, well, hey, let's bring this up. So
Let me challenge our 2020 think on that, Greg and team. Is it time to incentivize our technicians in the realm of training? And listen, there'll be people sitting out there and saying, listen, I pay him really well. Why do I need to pay him any more to be trained? But there are shop owners that are frustrated that I paid for virtual training. We held it one evening at 7:30 at night, and 1 out of 3 techs showed up.
Well, Colin, that's a loaded question. I'll be honest with you, because it takes a lot of leadership, a lot of explaining the why. It takes the right people. Sometimes you have the wrong employees. So that's a loaded question. I think
Thank
that
you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for
Yeah.
recognizing that. And
Yeah.
you know what, Joe? You and I probably need to come back and dive deep in that one, because
Yeah, I could talk a lot about that. Yeah.
that's what I wanted to hear from you. It's
Yeah.
not here's the deal, Greg. You could send them home, but there may be no accountability at the other end to know that they really did watch it and they really did take it. So you check the box that they took that 2-hour class.
Yeah.
Well, some of the things, and this was just current in a new program from my major supplier, Napa, that is getting us to learn the new SMS, the new Trax Enterprise. And now they have a learning module that you have to enter. And after every module, there will be a test.
Right.
And that test
Exactly.
goes back. So I think that we can, like I said, this is all new, but I probably would say by the end of 2021, this will be a well-honed situation where accountability will be built into these platforms and these virtual.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and my point was, and where I was trying to go is that the learning management systems have to be there. So if you're going to sign up for training, you've got to have that accountability factor. And if you have in your job description that you got to get 40 hours worth of training, 10 hours a quarter, you don't have to be incentivized to get there, but it ensures their career and your business. People tell me, Carm, things are changing so fast. There's so many unknowns. There's so many techniques. There's so much to learn that 40 hours is still not
enough.
enough.
May not be enough. No.
And if you're a leader of the business, Joe, let me go back to your leadership point, is if you're not taking training and coming back and saying, hey, listen, I just took a great course on this. I took a great course on that. I'd love to share a few ideas with you. Maybe we should change this thing up. Then they see your commitment. Without the owner's commitment, you're right, Joe, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you build it into your culture, like look, everybody is incentivized by what moves them. Why do I come to work in the first place? And you have to look at your employees as, what are their goals? What are their objectives in life? And if you can tie it around the purpose of them being there in terms of raises, in terms of moving up the ladder, career pathing. Let's face it. Everybody wants to know what's in it for me, but you want the same. You want to develop that culture that we're here together as a team. So it's not enough for a shop owner to say you're taking 4 hours of training this month. That's not enough, because you're not going to get the accountability. But if you tie it into understanding what their needs are, okay, so you want to get a house someday, you want to get married, you want 3 kids, whatever that is. Well, this is what you need to do. Right now, you're a B-level technician. You want to move up the ladder to become an A-level technician. So we're going to help you do that. But one of the requirements is training. So when you tie it into what they need out of life, it's not about you, it's about them. So you tie it into, this is all about leadership. So when you tie it into what they need out of life, all of a sudden the training becomes more important. But it all begins and ends with the right employee too.
Well, thank you for that. Hey, why don't we take a time out and then come back and just nail this thing here, okay? You guys all agree to that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Do you know what's as easy as 1, 2, 3? Well, Shopware's shop management system allows customers to review, approve, and pay for repairs all in one place. Ideal today. Keep your staff and your customers safe while maintaining profits and keeping your customers super happy. Learn more at getshopware.com. And when someone searches for a shop, who are they finding? Probably your competitors. If you're not doing it right, it should be you. The good people over at Shop Marketing Pros know how to drive website traffic and make Google work for you on the web at shopmarketingpros.com. Hey, I don't know if you know this, gang, but we actually took Aftermarket Weekly, the weekly live show where we do a virtual tour, and we made it a podcast. Yep, Greg's got another podcast out on, and it's so much fun. We're on Apple and Google and Spotify and Amazon Music, and I think on Audible.com. I think we're just about everywhere. We just birthed it a couple of weeks ago, and from now on there will be a podcast for Aftermarket Weekly coming out, and thank you all for being here. We're talking about what will 2021 look like with Greg Buckley, Joe Marconi, and Gene Morrill. Gene,
Yeah.
an awful lot of unknown going on in 2021, and can we base some of the things that we do based on what we know now?
Absolutely. I'd like to circle back around on the marketing end of it. And everybody's going touchless, touchless, touchless. And I say, no, touch, touch, touch. We need to touch our customers. We need to figure out what they want, how they want to be handled. We need to notify them, let them know we're open. Again, like we all know, the top 20% of our customers take care of the majority of our business. And in this needy time where it's tough to get new customers, why not touch your existing ones? We do a database analysis on a regular basis, find out who our spenders are, who we should take care of. And everybody talks about these expensive email marketing programs. Well, a phone call costs you nothing. An email costs you nothing. A text reminder, although you don't want to, text people, anything for marketing, but there's so many ways that cost you very little or nothing. We send 2 emails a month to each of our customers, thanking them and giving them a tip on what's going on with their car or the industry. It's not that difficult. It just takes the owner buckling down and getting your staff to do it. My staff hated making phone calls when March came around, but that's what kept us open during the beginning of the pandemic. We called every single customer, told them we're open, we're here for you, we'll pick up your car, what do you need, how can we help you? And it was amazing. That carried us through that first initial downturn of business. And honestly, we have never really slowed down. We've maintained, and I'm really proud of my staff. Educating your staff is the other thing. This is a dangerous thing. We need to take care of each other. We need to, if you don't feel good, stay home. Everything is so important nowadays, taking care of your staff, and they take care of your customers, and everything will take care of itself if you play it right.
I heard that before, and I can't remember if it was on a private call, it was a podcast, reach out and touch someone. Mm-hmm. And you know what, Joe, Greg, Gene, that's not a bad damn idea. If we were going to reinvent 2021, we have every system you'd want in the world to make it touchless. And I just love Gene's point. Let's put that in the plus column. I have a comment to make, and I think it was you, Greg, or maybe it was you, Joe. Less people, less product, and we need to have more and more. And every day, go out shopping. It doesn't matter where. And because I just built a brand new, beautiful studio, I had been in Lowe's in my hometown quite a lot in the last 2 weeks. Oh, I forgot this. I got to go to Lowe's. And in my mind, I knew what I wanted to get, and I would go to Lowe's and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find a person to help me. I couldn't find it in all those long aisles stuffed together. Remember, there's limited SKUs that anyone has for square footage to display stuff. And you know what I would do? There were about 3 times in all the trips that I made that I needed to come home and order it online. And what a crime in this cold and touchless environment. But the people weren't there to help me hunt. And I got on my phone to try to see if it was in stock in my shopping store. I mean, I had to go through so many hoops. Gene, we need to have an easy button. I mean, that's what you guys are saying.
Yeah. Customer service. I mean,
I mean, this month has proven that, I am tired of the touchless, contactless, impersonal type service. And, I don't want to deliver that. That's not what I was built for. That's not how I grew up. That's not what made me who I am. And I refuse to believe that I have to sacrifice that, because it's part of who I am. But I think people in general, we're not built as humans. We are built to communicate and touch and socialize. Yeah. And when we take that gap away, it's just a really bad situation.
And we lived with getting a cold and the flu because we were close.
Yeah.
And good point. Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah. So,
oh my God. Hey, Joe, we're getting near the end, but I do want you to cover the business plan strategies that you wrote up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now more than ever, we need to put your plan in place. The most important plan, I think, we realized after COVID was, what is your continuity plan? What is your crisis plan? Do the people, your key people, your spouse, do they know the password? Does your wife know the password to your phone? I mean, really? I mean, think about that. I've heard some horror stories, passwords to the computer, laptops, alarm codes. What's your crisis continuity plan look like? That's number one. The other one is, like I mentioned earlier, marketing. Let's not take our foot off the gas in terms of marketing. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carmen.
No, great point. Yeah. When you mentioned that earlier, I wanted to chime in, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I think we should put the pedal to the metal for January.
Yeah, we really should.
And we could push it as hard in March, in February, and then March and April, when I think life becomes, I don't know, warmer, number one. Number two, vaccine knowledge. I mean, we know where that thing is going, but we still have to fix vehicles. And there are still competitors of ours. I don't wish this upon them, that aren't strong. You've got to create every opportunity.
Yeah, you really do. I think that marketing, you see, those that pull back in tough times, those are the ones that are going to fall behind. And it's much harder to catch up than it is to maintain. And like I said earlier, I understand the economics of it when it's tough times. I do, but you got to do all you can to maintain your marketing. And the other two plans you should really work on are your employee development plans, career pathing. That's going to be a big thing, because we always talk about the technician shortage. Well, there's also an employee shortage. Let's face it. We're not doing enough. We all know this. It's not a secret. We're not doing enough to get young people into our industry. And once we do get them in, we kind of burn them out, because there's nothing there in 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now. And if we're afraid we're going to train them and then they're going to leave, well, what's better? You know the old story.
Yeah.
Don't train them and they stay. So let's train them. We need our future shop owners, our future trainers. So, the career pathing and employee development is going to be really key. And then it's goal setting too. It's all about goal setting. What are your goals? What does 2021 really look like in June, in December? Those that have clearly defined goals are the ones that really they're more inclined to be more successful And not that you always hit the mark. That's not what we're not striving for excellence here, because we all make mistakes. What we're striving for is a plan. Look, every football coach, baseball, they always have, they go to the game with a plan in mind. Do they change those plans around? Do the first 3 plays do they not work? Yeah. But the thing is, without a plan, then you're flying blind. And trust me, I've been there. I've been there in the 80s where I was flying blind. But once you get these plans in place and these structured approach, the proactive approach, you're much more inclined to hit the mark. And when the bad times happen, you're going to weather the storm a little bit better. And build that war chest. Someone mentioned it earlier. I think it was Gene. Build a war chest. Put your finances in place. Have the ability to reach out. Get your banker involved. Your accountant involved. Your coach involved to help you with the needed financing when you need it. I mean, so there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, Carm, and I can't. It's a lot. It's a whole podcast on its own,
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, thank you. And maybe we need to get back together and do a couple in a row. Joe, thank you for that. I'm sensing, team, a youth movement in our industry. I'm going to get ready to do an interview with a 28-year-old who's buying her first shop from someone I think we all know in the industry who's been around for many, many years, hangs out at the podcast. I've interviewed him in the past. And he's succeeding to this 28-year-old. And in my pre-call with her, she said, Carm, I'm buying my business before I'm even buying my first house.
Wow.
And she she's 28 years old. And I'm getting ready to interview a 35 and a 36-year-old shop owner. And what I need to do, I believe, for 2021 is to help excite that youth movement in our industry.
That's a good goal.
And there are so many great, wise coaches that we have that can teach the younger people. But if we don't start, it's like my soapbox on apprenticing. I'm telling you, I'm going to hit apprenticing really hard this year because it's a youth movement, and it's a great opportunity for every single shop owner to create that journeyman's pathway attitude. I mean, if the other skilled trades can have journeymen and they hire apprentices to become that person, why have we missed the mark on that?
Yeah, good point. It's a real good point.
So thank you for allowing me to get up on my soapbox. Greg, sum it up, and then I'll give Gene the last word.
Oh boy. Well, the Fantastico. To sum up 2021, I think it goes back to what some of the high points. One, make sure your fundamentals are good. Don't forget what got you there. Secondly, learn to hit a curveball. That's what we're into right now, and learn to adjust. Don't be afraid to put things up against the wall, see what sticks. And finally, just make sure that you take care of the people that are working for you. Keep them safe, keep them motivated. Be a good, or even be a better leader than you are now. I mean, if there's a time to lead through crisis, it's right now. And for the shops that are survived, we've worked our tail off through this pandemic. Don't let off the gas.
Beautiful advice. Thank you so much, Gene.
Well, for me, my advice to everybody 2021 is let it go. I see so many shop owners that are the big elephant that never forgets. One person tells them they're too much money, and all of a sudden they got to lower their prices and they're scared to death. But don't be the elephant, be the duck. Let the water roll off your back. Don't let it bother you. Continue to move on. It'll be okay. And take that couch that's been in that corner for 10 years and move that sucker and just try something new and get to know friends and owners, and don't build a war chest of money. Build a war chest of knowledge with your friends, your coaches, organizations, whatever it is. And I promise you, you will prosper in 2021.
unbelievable advice from all three of you. Thank you so much. I'm excited that I picked this panel because I know you nailed it. I really believe this is a great lesson for everyone in the industry. And that moving couch thing, Gene, you must have chatted with my wife, because when I traveled, and I was home, and I'd get home at 2:00 in the morning and stumble in, and I'd bump into a piece of furniture that she moved.
That's it.
I
Honest
taught
to
her.
God.
I taught her that. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Very good. Move the couch. Great
Move the
advice.
couch. Yeah.
Greg Buckley, Joe Marconi, Gene Morrill, thank you so much for being here, guys. Have a great holiday.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holiday. Take care,
Merry
guys.
Christmas, everybody.
Happy holiday.
Happy New Year.